Easy E, how are we?
Shawnee, I'm back in the sunny southeast.
That could be Ireland this week because there's an absolute awful heat wave on the way, or awful lovely, depends if you're running or not, what time you're running at.
No, Southeast Asia, man.
Is Malaysia a new one for the scratch map?
Malaysia is a new one for the scratch map. I missed an opportunity to take one with the Petronas Towers. Two reasons. My t-shirt still smelt from a half run I did. And I wasn't expecting to be at the towers at the time I was at them. So I was like, I was supposed to then go back the next morning. And yeah, no, it just didn't happen. So an iconic photo missed. But I'm still in Malaysia. There's going to be a run with it this week. Yeah, in the next couple of days. Yeah.
So half run. By half run, you mean that this half marathon you talked about in Australia you're going to do in the
Yeah,
last episode of the
I
podcast?
did a half of a half.
What happened?
Beer. Beer is what happened. So I
Anyone listening last week would have heard beer, beer, stag, stag, beer, beer, wedding, half marathon that went. I don't know. So what
do you
happened? Did
know
you
what?
drop down or what did you do?
Yeah, I did. I got soft. Yeah, like it was just I haven't drank that much beer in could be the guts of a year or two. Like to do it day after day after day for the guts of 7, 8 days. Then had a wedding where I drank pretty much 8, 9 hours. This does sound like an AA meeting now, but then I took the day off on Saturday. I didn't drink alcohol on Saturday, and I think that was probably the worst thing I could have done. I should have just kept going because I woke up on Sunday with its day two hangover that was worse than the day one hangover. I think I had a bit of withdrawals. I was feeling very sorry for myself. And we got there, it was piss and rain. I was I was already feeling ropey as it was, and I was like, I think I'll just do the 12K. I was that bad, it didn't even charge me watch the night before. So I had 12% left. If you look at my Strava, I did a 10.6K. I actually did a 12K. So I wasn't actually prepared. And then we thought my another good excuse I had was they were doing the 12K,
Right.
Jimmy and Katie, and we thought they were all starting at the same time. And I thought these are going to have to stick around for another hour, maybe more, depending on how this goes, just waiting for me to finish this race. So we got there, went through the hardship of changing right, put me in the 12K race.
Hmm.
And then we found out the 12K race wasn't starting for an hour after the half marathon.
We're
And then
finished
I
same
was like,
time.
I should have just done it. I should have just done it, but I couldn't go back. I'd already changed it.
Yeah.
Now, I was very happy of I can't change it now. Don't get me wrong. I was very glad of it. But
Hmm.
went out and did the 12K run at about 11K in. I was very glad I wasn't doing a half marathon, I'll tell you that much. Um, just did not feel right at all. But still, a very enjoyable run. It was great because we were out there, and that's where Rachel does a lot of her training. So it was good to get an appreciation for places where she does her interval training and stuff. Really enjoyed the run. I didn't run at the pace around the 10K in Dunshaughlin, obviously, but I ran at a pace that I think is now my new go for a run pace,
Oh.
which is great because it's a good minute plus faster than what I would have thought is my go for a run pace. I didn't really care about pace. I just kind of ran. So this
Hmm.
was a great race. There was on the same day a marathon, a half marathon, 12K, 6K. So it's a 6K loop track. So for the first lap, they send the marathoners out 3K and then off they go. If they run X amount, I think it's 7 laps or whatever it is. Then
Seven
the half
sixes, yeah.
marathons run out 1.5. They come back and they run their whatever amount of laps. The 12K is obviously 2 and the 6K is 2 to 1. So very inclusive. And I don't know what it is. There's just something about a lap race. I actually think it's great. Every time I came around, I was like, oh, I know exactly where I am. I know what to do. And for me, I hear you talk about the Donnelly 50K, which we can touch on is already sold out. But for me, it was a good indication of what a 6K loop looks like. Well, 5K for Donnelly. But yeah, I was feeling very sorry for myself. I really enjoyed it though. It was definitely needed. It was the best I felt all week, to be honest, after the run. And then we took a sea dip afterwards and I just felt brand new again. So yeah, I'm in Malaysia now. A lot less alcohol, but a hell of a lot of tours. So we're starting to get to the kind of the latter end of the holiday where it starts to calm down, less moving.
Hmm.
a little bit of moving around for the next 3 days, and then after that I have 5 days to just kind of decompress and do a little bit of gym and a little bit of enjoying of an actual holiday. It's all a holiday, but with less purpose, I suppose.
Well, you said that the lap, and obviously Donaghadee is sold out that 50k. But another one that people could do if they're sick of everyone talking about the Dublin Marathon and can't get a ticket for it is Galway at the start of October. That's a lap course, very similar to what you said. The half marathon sold out, but there's a 10k option and there's a marathon option. And I'm not too sure on times. I think the marathon starts around 8:30. And maybe the 10K comes next during the middle of it. And then at 12 o'clock or something, the half starts. The half is more popular than the marathon there for some reason. But like you said, the loop course, and I did it a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed that, knowing, okay, I'm here now. I know when I could push on a bit harder. I know when there's a little creep of a hill comes up in Galway. It's not that bad. We do the same thing 6 times, so you do feel it near the end. Or the two small loops, four big loops. I can't remember exactly what it is. But then, like nutrition wise, strategy wise, and all the rest, it's and mentally as well, because you're not going as far. I know you're running, a marathon, 42.2 is 42.2. But when you're kind of in the same area, it doesn't feel like you're going that far. Like when you're in Castleknock going, Jesus, to go all the way out to UCD and around and back in from here, like just
Yeah.
mentally seems like a long time rather than, okay, I've done this already, just have to do it another 2 times or 3 times. It's easier in my mind to break it down. Now, I haven't said I still love Dublin, but
Yeah, and to be honest, like it was the only thing that made me get to the start line was because like if I died after 3K, I'm only 3K from home. Do you know what I mean? You're never far. Like at the furthest point, you've 3 kilometers to get back to the car. If
yeah.
it all went kaput, and that's probably, I suppose, when I seen the half marathon start, and I actually did have that feeling of, "Oh, I should have just done it." But
Yeah.
yeah, look, it's with a lot of things that have gone on over the last while, and the amount of alcohol. I was like, should you really be doing a half marathon, or should you have respect for it? And at the end, I said maybe I should have respect for a half marathon
Oh, yeah.
and just do a 12K run. So that's what we did. But it was enjoyable. It's still a run, I suppose. It's good to keep moving. I am on holidays as well, I suppose. So it's a funny one, especially when you have a wedding and you're like surrounded by athletes. Like everyone there was like phenomenal at something, cycling, swimming, and they were all there, not drinking, me there with 2 drinks in my hand. Sorry, user who? Athletes, do you want to come on the podcast? But there was definitely a stark difference, and it showed on the morning when I was supposed to do a half marathon. But look, I just kept saying, I'm on holidays, it's all right.
Yeah. Those who can do and those who can't, well, they create a podcast and talk about it. So that's what you do.
Yeah, that's it. But look, it was a great experience. Great to see some people absolutely flying around. There was one point, actually, there was, I'm going to give him 7, 8 years of age. He was beating me he was doing a 6K, and he was
Right.
beating me for the first half of the lap. So I caught up with him and threw him in a bush. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I wanted to though. I was eyeing him up for a while, and I was like, "No, Eric, I don't care. If you die on the second lap, do not let an 8-year-old beat you in a 6K."
Man, I don't even feel that bad anymore because there's been so many 5K local races and stuff I've done, and you see the kids take off. And when I was doing the first two, I'm like, they're just sprinting the first kilometer, they're gonna die of death. And then like you don't see them again. They're gone. And there's
No,
like eight,
no.
9 year olds doing plus sub 20 minute 5Ks, and it's just like,
It was so good. And do you know what? It kind of, yeah, running past him was a nice feeling, beating a 9 year
nice.
old. But it was. I had a little chat with him. I was like, "Oh, what's the story? Are you enjoying it and stuff?" And he's like, "Yeah, maybe my shoulders are a bit sore now, and a tick Aussie accent. Yeah, maybe I'm all good, but I'm just gonna go at my own pace, I'll see the finish line." I was like, "That man has more running maturity than I have after so many years." But it was in its own right inspiring. In its own way, made me feel worse for drinking for a week. But it's an enjoyable day and another enjoyable race. The good thing was I was registered for the half marathon, so I got a medal, even though I shouldn't have.
Okay, you got a half marathon medal for doing 12K.
Yeah,
For
so I
traveling
gave it.
down.
I gave it to Katie.
You're
Because she was raging. She went to take the medal, and your man whipped it off. I was like, "No, that's for half marathoners and marathoners." She was like, "Oh," so I was like, "Here, you can have mine. I don't deserve it." So
that was nice of you.
yeah, it's the least I could do. But
Going
anyway,
for
it's a good week. It was a good holiday. We're into Southeast Asia now. We progress closer to Ireland slowly but surely.
Sore legs after a long run? Aching muscles holding you back?
Meet your new training partner, Ultra Pure Essential Oil Muscle Rub Roll On. Fast, effective recovery wherever you are.
Infused with 9 powerful essential oils and arnica, this vegan no mess roll on is perfect post race, post workout, or just winding down.
Roll this onto tired legs, arms, or back and massage in. Simple, soothing, and effective. Your muscles will thank you.
Made in County Mayo by an award-winning Irish family business, Ultra Pure means quality you can feel and trust.
Find Ultra Pure Essential Oil Muscle Rub Roll On in pharmacies and health stores nationwide, or shop online on the new Ultra Pure store, ultrapurelabs.ie. By listening to this advert, you are supporting Irish businesses and this podcast. But for now, let's get back to the episode.
There was a conversation with Jim Florida. Now you brought up Katie, you're a half. Let's say, for example, you're doing a High Rocks event with her and you're doing doubles and you get to the end.
I know where you're going with this.
You know where I'm going with this. Yeah.
I know where you're going with this.
The wall balls at the end, and she seemingly collapses, and he asks, "Can I just keep going and finishing it?" And all the paramedics and stuff around. So this came up in the gym floor, and everyone's like, "She's single now," and blah blah. I'm like, "Well, what's he supposed to do? He's not a paramedic. That's not his job. His job was to finish the race." Needless to say, I was tongue in cheek, but I got awful abuse for saying that.
Yeah, like. I see that story made the dinner table when we were in Australia. Was it Australia? Yeah, or maybe I don't know. I'm losing track, but it was basically like, "Did you see this?" And I was like, "Huh?" It was like boyfriend abandons girlfriend during High Rocks while she collapses. I was like, "What a headline! What a headline!" So I'd say he's probably not doing too well at the minute now in terms of the backlash. But
I got you a patch. Like he doesn't even finish. So, I think it's a DNF. I don't even think it counts.
Because the two she didn't cross the lines. What are you doing crossing it? But so in a marathon, right? You start, you run your own race. Sometimes you're running with your other half. If anything happens, you don't know. Mm-hmm. So unless you're running with them, you don't know. So you cross the finish line and then you find out, oh no, trouble. But when your training or competition partner passes out with like the foot beside you, come on, for the sake of I don't even think they were pros.
I don't think so. You get a patch at the end of it, like.
But I tell you what, he's going to be going through a bit of a rough patch for a while, isn't he? I hope that patch was worth it. But yeah, look, it's an interesting one. It wouldn't be what I would do, but hey.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. Obviously, no, not do that. But switching gears and not before I get myself in trouble with any more comments on that one. Speaking of rough patches, we've got different terrains in terms of running on this week's episode of the podcast. We get more into the cross-country side of things as well as talking about running with a very high-level athlete in this week's episode of the podcast.
Yeah, this is a great episode, and we're actually privileged to have someone of this caliber come on and talk to us and educate us two idiots in terms of cross country and what's involved and what it takes. So if we sound like idiots asking questions, it's because we are. But no, it was a great episode, a great insight into a different world that we're probably not too familiar with, which is the great bit about this podcast, in understanding a different sport and what it takes and the dedication involved.
Absolutely. And with that said, it is this week's episode of the Any Given Run Day podcast. Let's go. Our next guest on the Any Given Run Day podcast is an Irish female national cross-country champion, has represented Ireland on the international stage, recently broke the sub-16 barrier with a 15:49 5K in Brussels, and was the Cork City Sports Athlete of the Year in 2023. Fiona Everett, welcome to this week's episode of the Any Given Run Day podcast. How are you getting on?
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, happy to be on.
Fiona, you are what we like to call a good runner. I can't believe some of the stats I'm after hearing. And not only that, I know what it takes to do those times and do those things.
You don't know what it takes to do 15:49 5K.
I do, because I can't do it. I know I'm not capable of ever doing anything Fiona is able to do. It's phenomenal. Fiona, you are a phenomenal athlete in our book, and obviously being an Irish athlete, you probably say, no, you just like to run. So we'd like to know, how did you get into running and how did you get into sport?
Yeah, I don't think it's that too much of an exciting story how I get into it. I'm the youngest of four of two brothers and a sister. So I think our parents
Youngest
just,
are always the better athletes. It's a proven science.
yeah, they're all the like
I
they get
never
all the
guessed that
trials
Eric's the
and
youngest in his family, you know.
they tell me what works, what doesn't work, so it's grand. But no, our parents just signed us up for band athletics. We used to do like every sport that was kind of going. We're living like in the middle of our village, so if there's anything going on, they'll like sign us up to probably for a bit of peace, get us out of the house. But yeah, they brought us into band to sign up for the club, and I was actually too young at the time to join. I'm a year younger than my brother, and I think he just about got in. So I had to wait a year, and then yeah, I was able to join. So I must have been maybe like 7. So yeah, I was kind of excited from the start to get going, and then yeah, just kind of kept at it. We like again, we used to do everything. So camogie and running were like my main ones that I preferred. But over time, I knew running, it was always what I preferred. I think I was always like a bit better at it as well, which made it easier to enjoy. And then maybe when I was like 16, I kind of stopped all other sports and just focused on running then.
How did you find managing obviously a passion for running and obviously camogie? I'd say people hated marking you in camogie. Let's call it spade a
Yeah.
spade. Because like trying to keep up with someone who's really fit and can run is just a
I don't
nightmare.
think I was actually that good. They used to just give me the ball and tell me to run. So that's my only
The
job.
Forrest Gump of camogie.
Yeah.
And how did you find leaving camogie? Because once you're involved in team sports and once you're involved in the camaraderie, I suppose, of a team sport, particularly in a town, how did you find that decision to step away and focus on the running, or did sport just kind of dictate, listen, it's time to focus on one?
Yeah, I think I always knew I'd probably like eventually just go to running just because I did prefer that. But yeah, it was the team side of camogie that I used to love. And the year I finished, I think I was in TY, we actually had a really good year. So we won our like West Cork and County, it was probably like under 16 or whatever it was. So I was kind of thinking, oh, do I want to keep this going a bit longer? But no, I knew I think I got more of a kick still out of running. It was just, yeah, like that team side of like any team sport, it is massive. I think it's why, like, even with running, I always run better when I have like people to run with or like a good group that you can train with. That side just makes a huge difference. So yeah, it was hard to step away when I enjoyed it, but I think at the same time I was probably ready just to like focus more on running.
And it is that age when you look back now with hindsight in it. And for me, when I look back, 16 was the age where 15 sometimes
Mhm.
maybe is the age you kind of have to decide if you're going to focus on a sport. It's great to do every sport, but then particularly for me when it was soccer at 15, 16, you really had to make your mind up whether it was going to be GAA, whether it was going to be soccer or what you wanted to do, and you had to focus on it. Did you see for yourself a path into a career in running, or did you see that, look, if I focus on this, I can probably go far. I'm quite good and quite talented. I have good fitness. So what did you see for yourself when you were looking at that? Or were you looking at it as a pathway to college, or what was it to you then, or was it just purely enjoyment?
Yeah, I don't really know. I think I knew I wanted to like put more time into it. And when it used to clash a bit with like training or going to a match or whatever, I just wanted to like not really have as many interruptions to running. So I knew I just wanted to like all the time I had for sport, wanted to put into running. I don't know if I thought too much about where it could lead. It was just more like what I wanted to do. I was probably a bit naive. I didn't realize like the standards or like what it would actually take to get to there. So I used to think, yeah, like I'll go to Olympics, I'll go to Worlds, why not? Like thought it was like an easy thing. I have this much time, I'm not doing matches, like yeah, Olympics next. No, I think I probably just took it like as it came, whatever. I didn't I don't know, I guess I wouldn't say see like big limits to it, but I just thought I'm putting in more time, like we'll see where it goes. Like who knows where your potential is gonna lie. So yeah, I was kind of glad just to have that bit more time and see how it goes. With college wise, I didn't think too much about it either. I probably didn't like we wouldn't have come from a running family, so I think I was like a bit naive and didn't know too much about like colleges in America or like that was even an option. But I think it was probably good in a way, it just kind of like kept the focus on like actually enjoying the sport and not putting like too much pressure on it either.
Yeah, especially at that level when you're like you're competing to wins and stuff like that. It's great at that age you had the enjoyment factor. At this stage, Fiona, did you know you're gonna head down more cross country? Were you doing a lot of that in school, or was it more the 5Ks, 10Ks, or what were you more interested in that then?
Yeah, I was definitely always more interested in cross country, mainly because of camogie and like we used to do like whatever other sports were on in the summer. So a lot of time I would like just compete over cross country. And then I do competitions in track, but it was always a bit more broken just with trying to like balance what other sports were going on. So I think because of that, I'd like had more practice in cross country. So I did prefer that. And at the time, like we were able to run longer in cross country than track. And like I think I preferred the longer distance as well. It's really only the last like 2 years really I've started actually enjoying track as well. So I'm trying to balance that out a bit more, get those standards up a bit. But yeah, I always knew when I was younger it was cross country I preferred.
Before reading all your accolades and stuff, it was when you got the national female cross country championship, you talked about how you had a lot of bone injuries and stress fractures and stuff like that. Was that coming into college and stuff? And you said you worked with a coach and how overcoming them. What was that like?
Yeah, so it was I did my undergrad in Athlone, and it was probably the end of that first year there. I didn't start getting bone injuries then, but I just started picking up like a lot of niggles. It was kind of around then I think I probably needed like a coach in person or just a bit more of a setup around me. Like I had no S&C. It was kind of my own fault. I just didn't know, I guess like that naivety as well. I just didn't know what I should be doing, what setup I should have around me. So yeah, that's when I started getting like just a lot of like niggles, a lot of even muscle injuries. And then it was maybe a couple of years later, I got a stress fracture of my tibia. And then the year following that, I just kept getting stress reactions on the same bone. So it was when I moved to Galway almost 3 years ago, I think 2022, September. I started doing a master's up there, and that's where my now coach, Matt Lockett, he coaches the group up there. So he really like taught me a lot about, I think the main thing was just controlling my training. Like I'd have seen threshold on the plan, but like I wasn't doing threshold. Everything was just run fast,
Full
get it
tilt.
done. And yeah, there was a good like S&C coach, Antoine, up there as well. He helped me a lot. So I just started learning more about like what I actually should be doing, like doing the right things. Because I always did say like, oh, I'm just really injury prone, but I think no, I was just doing like everything wrong.
What is the recovery process for it? How frustrating is it for these kind of stress fractures? Because so many runners will hear about it. People who are getting into running are going to hear about stress fractures, shin splints, and a lot of athletes are doing it. A lot of it ends up, as you've correctly said, training related or overtraining is an element. Doing too much too quick on the comeback from anything, a rest period or a downtime. How did you recover from these? Obviously, you changed the coaching, but what was the recovery process for you and what was involved?
Yeah, when I got the fracture, I think it was quite bad in the end, just because I think I knew at the time when I had it that like there was obviously something wrong with my leg. Like it's not great, but
This hurts.
yeah, should probably stop running, but didn't. I did just ignore it for a while, and like I remember I'd be like running around the pitches at home here, and I'd be like limping on it, and I'd be like, oh, it's a little bit better though. It's definitely easing off, and then couldn't walk for like 2 days. But so yeah, I think initially I had to take like 4 months like completely off, like cycling or anything would always cause it to flare up. So
Wow,
it's like,
even
yeah,
cycling.
4 months of nothing. But I don't think if anyone gets a stress fracture, I don't think it should be that extreme. I think I just, yeah, let it get like quite bad. And then building back up running, it was my old coach, Ronan, he like helped me so much with that, to be fair. He like got me a really good plan to actually get back running at all, but it was such a slow process. I had like I'd start with a 3 minute run and could only run every second day. And every day I was running, it was building up by 3 minutes. And then we get to maybe like 15 minutes and it's okay, just hold that for like a couple of days and then would increase again. So yeah, it was really gradual and still like I was probably only got to maybe 20-mile weeks. I had done no sessions. It was all like easy running. And then I just kept getting stress reactions. So I went through like a little over a year where I probably hadn't done more than like 30, 35-mile weeks. I had done like no sessions and it just kept flaring up. So yeah, it was that at the end of that summer then when I moved up to Galway. I'd gone back like some bit running. I think at that point I had maybe a month to 6 weeks behind me where I was doing like 2 kind of easy sessions a week. And then that's when Matt introduced like the strength and conditioning and controlling training. So I think only for that I probably would have got myself in a hole again. That's what kind of kept me, yeah, like staying injury free and healthy.
Fiona, you're going through all this and you're going into college and all the rest, and it's
Yeah.
like I know there's a lot of people that go, this just is not for me. I mean, I've gone from all this kind of stuff to running 3 minutes. It's not for me. My body's breaking down. I am not a runner. Go with the college lifestyle. Like the enjoyment factor must have been gone out of running at that stage.
Yeah.
I can't imagine enjoying it that much for 180 seconds. What kept you still? Was the coaches and stuff around to kept you in it, or was it just like, I know I'm going to eventually get over this?
I'd say the biggest thing, yeah, my family were huge anyway. Like I was such a mess. Like I'd be fine. I'd be like, oh no, it's okay. I'll get back running soon. And then an hour later, I'd be in tears. Like I'm never going to be running again. I think they were sick of it. And then when I was going to Galway, they were like, good, take her away. That was the problem. But no,
Stick
they were
listening.
brilliant. Yeah, they were brilliant. They yeah, would help me a lot. And I think any time that I would kind of like just stop believing that I was ever going to get back, they would have that belief. So that helped a lot. But I think I just knew like I really enjoyed doing it. Like when I was younger, it was always what I wanted to do. So even though I wasn't seeing any of the like good side of it, I kind of had no choice but just to believe that like if I kept going, it was going to work out. And I don't think there was much alternative. Like I knew if I say had stopped then it was going to be like a year later I was going to pick it back up. Like I could just never see myself like fully stepping away from it. So yeah, I just figured keep at it and eventually it'll work out. I didn't think it'd take that long, but worked out then.
And on the mental side of it, you know, you say some minutes good, some minutes bad, some minutes tears. What was it like? Because especially you've come out of one undergrad, you're kind of picking up injuries, then you're going into masters. From the personal perspective, I know the family were great with sport, but how did it feel? Because a lot of people share the identity with what they do, they're running. How did that element feel for you?
Yeah, that's hard because I would be really bad at that as well. It's just like a lot of my mood is based on how running's going. So that was tough. I think it helped that like I have a lot of friends outside of running as well. So just kind of yeah, having people to like switch off with and that they wouldn't know about. Like if I won a park run, they think that's unreal. If I won nationals, they'd be like, "Is that good as the park run or what?" So it's nice. It's actually nice having people that they're just kind of like more tuned out of it, but in a good way. Like they'd be happy for like whatever you're running, whatever you're doing. So yeah, I think kind of more relying on those people just to keep you going and like I suppose I was able to like have more interest outside of sport as well, which was good. But yeah, I think it's still a balance that I'm trying to get right, not putting like all my worth into how running's going.
Fiona, for context, just for people listening, what time frame are we talking about? Like, was this around 2021, 22, while the
Yeah,
stress and stuff?
yeah. The stress fracture I think was June of 2021, and then it was the following I think maybe like June 2022 I started getting back doing like a session or two a week. And then so yeah, I've had like 3 years now where I've been touch wood pretty injury free.
June 2022, you're back to running 1 or 2 sessions a week. You know, you went from 3 minute running to 1 or 2 sessions a week to February 2023, your first time putting on the green bib internationally for Ireland. That's, am I right in
Yeah.
that? That's eight
Yeah.
months. What happened in those 8 months, Fiona? You went to like just 1 or 2 sessions a week to
There's hope for us all.
yeah.
Yeah.
But discount all the camogie and all the work and time you put into up to there.
Forget about
Those
that.
months, Fiona, we need to know what you did to one day wear a different green than this any given run day t-shirt.
Yeah, I think I could see that like anytime I was able to string a few weeks together, like you're able to make good progress. So that was probably more of a frustrating part. I just thought, oh, if I can get any few months together, it'd be good to see what I can do. So yeah, that was the main thing. Like it was like the first like 8 months or whatever that in so long that I actually had that I was able to train without any interruption. So I think that was the biggest part, just being able to like, yeah, do the training. So I think like it was probably normal to see quite big jumps at that stage just because it was such a change to what I had been doing or like the little mileage that I was been able to do before. So I kind of did think, yeah, if I can just get like any few months together, hopefully I should push on a bit and see good improvement.
And in December 2022, you won the National Novice Cross Country Championship. In those 6 months and you're training in that terrain and stuff for cross country, is it when you're back in December 2022, is the mindset of the different terrain and stuff? I'm very unfamiliar with cross country, so I'm around it. Like, were you still worried about the injury at this stage, or were you switched on to I'm going to win this thing?
No, I think I was probably over the injury at that point. Beforehand, like over the summer, I would constantly, or like maybe up until like September, October, I would constantly feel like I had like pain there. So it was just kind of mentally like knowing that no, there's nothing there, you're fine. But yeah, I think as the weeks went on, I just kind of started forgetting about it. And every time we're able to like and see progress in training or like I was doing sessions that I mightn't have been able to do before, I think you like straight away kind of switch off. Like you're not thinking about the injury, you're just thinking about, okay, what can I do next? How can I push on? So yeah, I'd say by those champs, I had kind of forgotten about like the bone completely. And thankfully, yeah, it hasn't cropped up since.
What does it feel like to go from the lows of injury, because it is the lowest in an athlete, and it's particularly the phase you were at, to then getting to represent Ireland? What's that feeling like of that transition?
Yeah, that was brilliant. Like it does feel like oh, it's all kind of worth it. And like I obviously wouldn't want to go through any of that again, but I would if I like knew that outcome. Like you're always gonna like go through it or think that it's worth it when you do make, you know, an Irish team. So, and that's what kind of kept me going, just like knowing that I might be able to like make a team, or like that was the goal, obviously, to try and make an Irish team. So yeah, no, it was definitely worth it.
Need fuel that keeps up with your pace? Meet Perform's Carb Gel with 30 grams of fast-acting carbs, powered by 3 fuel sources for sustained energy when it matters the most. Packed with cluster dextrin for smooth digestion and a steady release. No spikes, no crashes.
All that in a compact 40 milliliter sachet, tested under Informed Sport, so you know it's clean and competition ready. Whether you're chasing the podium or just in an XPR, Perform Carb Gel gets you there faster, longer, stronger. If you're looking to stock up, you can use the code AGR to get 20% off your order.
By listening to this advert, you are supporting Irish businesses and this Irish podcast. Time to get back to the episode.
I was going to say, at the start, having that Irish bib on you, just like obviously, you know, you come from Bannon AC, you're wearing that bib all the way through. When you throw on the Irish bib, is there an extra pressure? Is there like extra excitement starting line of that race? Like, how are you feeling? Do you feel more eyes are on you then, or is just like, this is really cool, I'm going to go out and enjoy this? Like, what is your mindset there?
Yeah, I think for that race, I did just enjoy it. I was happy just to get it and just saw it as like a cool experience. It was what I like had wanted, like what I was kind of aiming for. So I didn't just want it to come and then be so nervous that I didn't enjoy it at all. So no, I saw it as a nice opportunity. Obviously, you're going to have like nerves, like some bit of them. It's kind of normal. But no, I more so saw it just like enjoy it. And yeah, you obviously always want to like run your best if you're running for Ireland. So I suppose like still having high standards, but yeah, just getting to like actually appreciate it.
Did you sleep in the bib for a week afterwards?
No, a bit smelly after cross country.
If I earned the jersey, you'd have to dig me out of it now after 6 months.
Slapped in it, and then I would have framed it afterwards and hung it above the TV, and that's at the front door. I would have hung it there. Everyone could see it.
We've no doubt that you probably weren't as weird with me, but we've no doubt that it probably gave you the want for more. Would that be right in saying, Fiona?
Yeah, it is true. As soon as you've achieved something you wanted, I think you're already like looking at the next or looking where you can go from there.
What was the plan?
Yeah, so I really like getting a Eurocross, I guess senior best. I ran in Eurocross as a junior. I think it was back in 2017. That was like just before I started like getting injuries and stuff. And I think after that, I really wanted to like make that step to try and get a senior vest. I didn't think it'd be such a big gap in between. But I think, yeah, as soon as like you get when you do want to like push on. So for that like whole year that was what 2023, I was like thinking about trying to make that Eurocross team. And I think in like the years before that as well, like I realized it had gotten really competitive to try and get on it. But I think it's a good thing to, yeah, you know, you can't like let your standards drop to try and get on it. So yeah, it kind of kept me pushing a bit for it.
And a year after the national novice, you're back out there for the national cross country championship up a level. You had the green jersey on you. You said you're hoping to get top 3, and you did a little bit better than that. You cleared the field by I think it was like 37 seconds or something like that. The nearest person was behind you, so you fairly went all out and won that race. What was that feeling like, and at what point were you in that race going, actually, this one's mine, I've got this?
Yeah, I was like most shocked out of everyone, I think. It was probably my own fault. I knew Ida had been like running so well that season. So I just like thought the gold medal is hers, like nobody's getting past her. So yeah, I was hoping for top 3 to try and get on the team. I thought second is like the best that I'll be able to get. Just didn't think at all that I'd be winning it. And I remember running around thinking that it felt really comfortable. I was like, it shouldn't feel this good. I almost felt like a fraud or something. I was like, it just shouldn't be feeling this easy at like a national champ. But no, it definitely started hurting towards the end. But I think we had maybe 2K laps, and it was going out onto the last lap. I had a bit of a gap, and I think that was the first time it came into my head that I might have to win. I just remember thinking in my mind, like, oh God, if I win, I'm going to have to give an interview after. Yeah, I was like, just get home to try and get the win. But no, it was really cool. I think even like to date, that's been like my favorite race I've ever done. And had like my parents were there and my brother. I stayed with my brother beforehand. He's in Waterford, so I wasn't too far from him. So just having family there as well made it that bit nicer.
Fiona, a feeling me and Sean will never know.
No.
What is it like to lead a race and not see anybody? How,
Yeah.
because obviously when you're racing, it's a different attitude, there's strategy, there's this to that. But when you come out onto that last lap and there's nobody in front of you, there's no one to gauge a pace off, there's no one to do anything, you just know the pack is chasing you down. What is that feeling like?
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying. I think you're really relying on people around the course to like tell you how much of a gap you have, especially cross country. You can't really give like a big look back. But people would say they'd have such different perspectives of like how big or small the gap was. So some people would be like, oh, you've like 100 meters, you're fine. And people are like, oh, they're really catching you. So I felt like I was running that last lap like such a fart, like I would speed up, slow down, just whatever people were saying it. But yeah, towards the end, I was just trying to like give everything I had because I had no clue how safe I was. And then coming into the last, I'd say with only like 100, 150 meters to go over the speaker, there was, I think second and third were like really close together. And he was saying something about that, about how they're close, but I thought they were close to me. So I like really panicked that last 50 meters. My heart rate was sky high, like sprinting trying to get there.
And when you cross that finish line and do get the chance to look over your shoulder and realize no one's there and you've won, I know the interview was coming, but before that, how nice is that feeling? Because a lot of athletes cross the finish line and they're straight away like, right, next race. But
Yeah.
how good was that feeling?
No, it was. And like I knew I did want to appreciate like how good it was just because I wasn't expecting it at all. I didn't think I'd be getting it. So yeah, it felt so surreal. It definitely didn't sink in straight after. It was probably like a few days later when I kind of realized I've actually won it. I think up until then it was just a bit of a blur. I didn't really believe it at all.
Cork City Sports Athlete of the Year. What, like, how, what happened? Like, did you get invited out to it? And like, did you think there's a chance there? Because I read you also were shocked at that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone that has gotten one from like a monthly awards the year before gets invited back. So I just thought it'd be cool to go back and like see all the athletes, whatever. Yeah, I definitely just didn't expect to be winning it at all. But that was a really cool one. That was, yeah, a nice award to get. I think Cork Athletics have been really supportive like along the years and stuff. So they always kind of make a big deal about it and make like all the athletes, feel quite good. So they put on a really good job. So yeah, it was actually really nice coming back for that one and even nicer to actually win it as well.
Did that happen at the end? I'm assuming that happened like near the end of the year because I could just imagine, at the start of each year, you write down your New Year's goals. It's like, right, how do I get better than last year? Okay, 2023, I was the national cross country champion. I was Cork City Sports Athlete of the Year. Like, my God, the bar is pretty high for the next couple of years to try and beat that. That's a bit nerve-wracking, no?
Yeah, I feel like maybe I peaked. I can just, yeah,
Just
that's
retire.
it.
Same with the Camogie.
Yeah,
Win the league and then just leave it there.
I should just stop now.
That proved it. But you didn't just stop there.
Yeah. I think, it's the same you were saying earlier. Like as soon as you achieve something, you want to go and like push on, achieve a bit more. So yeah, I was just kind of looking at ways that we can improve and yeah, just to try and get a bit better. Especially like I think cross country is a bit different for me. I know my cross country and track like aren't that aligned. I'm a bit better across, but I think for a track it's easier for me to like measure out how much I want to progress just because like my times aren't, well, especially like before last year, they weren't great. So up at that point, I was probably just looking at how I can improve on track and then how that will help me improve like over cross country. But yeah, I think there's always room for improvement. I feel like I'm a good bit off like being that good. So yeah, I think I have a while to go.
Fiona, forgive my ignorance a little bit, but some of the listeners maybe might have the same question as me. What are the main differences between track and cross, other than one is cross country and one is
Yeah.
track?
Slightly more.
But in terms of, because when you say I'm better at that than I am at track, but some people might be going, running is running. Yeah, we know that the surface is different, but what to you is the fundamental difference between them? What makes them so different?
Yeah, I think for some people it mightn't be that different. I think a lot of time it's like based on your form. And I just feel like we're working on it, we're trying to improve it, but I know I still don't have like as efficient form on the track. So I think I lose a lot of ground on track, like compared to cross country. And I do just kind of prefer I'm always stronger over the like aerobic stuff in training. So I just think the cross country, especially as it gets like muddier and conditions aren't as ideal, like hillier courses suit me better. So yeah, we're trying to work on that over cross country, or sorry, over track. And then I think just due to like the years I was injured and stuff, I used to do a lot of like aerobic training, and then say if I'd get injured and then I'm coming back and you're just going back into like a building phase. So I just don't think I had a lot of that like speed work done up until then. So I think that side is just like still catching up a bit.
And in that sense, is cross country considered, because obviously conditions play and the condition is the same for every athlete who steps up to the start line, but is it the conditions, the ground, everything that adds so much more to race strategy, that adds so much more into because I know after maybe a kilometer into a run, my thinking power goes to zero. So obviously, as you're pushing max effort and in a race, and now you're dealing with mud, you're dealing with hills, you're dealing with everything else, is that what makes it that little bit more exciting? That you have to be thinking more, and obviously running form can be probably forgiven because everyone's running form has gone
Yeah.
in the mucky patches. So is that what makes it more attractive to you and more exciting, I suppose?
Yeah, I think so. I think like I'm from West Cork, so there's no like shortage of hills around here. So I think I'm just used to like running over hills anyway. So I love all those kind of like hill sessions as well. I think it's just that as well, you're not really focused on a clock. Like time doesn't matter because it can vary so much between courses. And yeah, you're just kind of like going out and you're running on feel a lot of time as opposed to like pace or time. So I kind of like that. Just however the course is, you kind of do have to adapt it a bit. Like that course we had in Goran for those national champs, I'd never come across a course like that. And I hadn't like really walked the course properly. And it was just like so muddy and like so dug up. So I think it was only as you're running, you're kind of like figuring out how you're going to handle it or what's the best way to run it. So yeah, it probably adds a bit more of excitement to it as well.
Is that the beauty of a lap course then, that, okay, lap one, okay, and then lap two, you kind of start to figure out lap three, four, five, you then say, okay, this is where I push, this is where I take it easy. Is that kind of what you did on that day?
I think so. Yeah. You definitely like get a feel for the course and know what like spots you're going to be stronger on, when to kind of like push on a bit or everything. So yeah, and you normally do have a couple laps of it. So by the end of it, you should be quite used to it.
A lot of us wannabe runners, or the wannabe Fionas of the world, who are trying to keep up with you. And we've took to road running. We've took to marathons. We're doing 5Ks. We do 10Ks. Me and Sean don't like doing 5Ks and 10Ks. But pace, watches, heart rates, everything zones is what we've been flooded with, and we're all trying to do it. We're all trying to be our own athletes, I suppose. You mentioned there that you just run off field. How did you find the transition back to splits, times, zones, everything else that is probably not what you're doing in your regular training in West Cork in the hills?
Yeah, it is quite different. I think I'm always like at the end of one season, I'm kind of ready for the next. So at the end of cross country, I'm looking forward to actually, okay, trying to hit splits, trying to hit times and be a bit more focused on that side of it. And then it's kind of the same once track finishes up. I'm just like ready to, okay, run a bit more off feel. Like we'll always, even training for cross country, we are training off paces and stuff. And like we will do whatever, like a certain, say 2 mile repeats or whatever, like you are measuring it. It's just for racing, then you can, go a bit more feel. But no, I think there's kind of a place for both of it. And like, especially for track and for roads, you do need to be like a bit more focused on pace and stuff. I think it's just different. I probably do overall prefer running a bit more off feel and not being like too caught up on the pace. But yeah, I think there's like probably time and place for both.
Pure ignorance question, cross country. Is there like an alpha flies of cross country? Just like you stick on the boots and away you go, like because obviously with the carbons and stuff like that, and records are being broken left, right, and center in the track world, and because the amount of bounce and stuff off the carbon, obviously that's not happening cross country. So like footwear and how you run must be. I know the surface is different. It must be hugely different in how you approach to them.
I think so, yeah. I haven't tried wearing the alpha flies for cross yet. Might give it a
Not
go
too
if you see
white.
me this year, you'll know why.
Some people
But
run them in their bare feet though, Fiona, do they?
Cross country.
yeah, I haven't tried that either.
I've seen like in the June, now we're talking maybe juniors, I've seen one or two in their bare feet running around.
What do you run cross country? Obviously, you have spikes and stuff, right?
I wear spikes, yeah, I wear
Why do
dragonflies,
you go
but
barefoot?
I don't know,
I'd
maybe
say a lot of people like
shoes,
lose
but
their
I've seen one
spikes
or
as well
two
if
that
it's
do
quite
it.
muddy, so I don't know if that's by choice.
Well,
But
do
yeah,
you
I
see
think
that
when we were
start
younger
line?
people.
You see
So
people
yeah, when
start
we were
line.
younger people would like run barefoot as well.
Yeah, no, like I'm not, I've seen, that's why I'm asking. A lot of some people, I was like, they're just running in their bare feet.
But you're on spikes the starting line.
Some are, it's a risk.
It's a fair
Yeah.
I've heard losing toenails. Not why lions lose toes.
Especially if you're trying to keep up with Fiona and
Like,
she's has
no issue. Fiona stepped on your foot. And actually, Yeah, again.
So Fiona, are they just the lightweight kind of spiked kind of running shoe?
Yeah, like I'd wear dragonflies, which would be the same as I'd wear on the track. Just depending on like how muddy the course is, I'd change the length of the spikes. So yeah, just wear like longer spikes if it's a bit muddier. But I think a lot of the time it doesn't make a huge difference, which yeah, probably does like make the like playing field a bit more level as well when it like just doesn't have as big an impact what shoes you're in.
Yeah, and it's just a spike which everyone can wear, and it
Yeah.
probably gives you assistance in the turn. It means you don't lose that momentum on a sharper turn or whatever. You can trust
Yeah.
in the spike that you won't go sideways. But it is such an interesting one as well, and so many people now in run clubs, and they're talking about not necessarily athletic clubs, run clubs. People getting out doing a lot of road running, 5Ks, park run is a fantastic resource. How do people get into cross country, or how do I show up in my bare feet to run a to run a 10K
Yeah.
is how is what I'm looking to do.
Yeah, I think we didn't have a choice when we were younger. It was just we were signed up for it and that was it. But no, there are plenty of like cross country races in it or like around the place. So yeah, I think they probably are like races for everyone and like distance can vary as well. So yeah, I don't know if I'd recommend doing your first one barefoot. Maybe start with spikes.
Do people get into cross country? It's like early you're in and that's it. Like you don't really see what I maybe it's the circles I see online, but I never really see too many kind of like you have your trail runs and stuff, but that kind of cross country thing, I don't see too much of it. Is it just that if you're in it young, you're in it and that's it, or people just move on to road racing, or what's your thoughts on it?
Maybe, yeah. I think like probably because it's not, I wouldn't say not as enjoyable. Like for me, I obviously prefer cross country, but I think for a lot of people, they kind of might prefer the road. So I can see why people would go towards that over cross country. But yeah, I think as a juvenile, it was really big. Like there's a bit more of a team aspect to it. It's obviously still individual, but like when we were younger, they'd always try and gather like as many teams as possible for it. So maybe that's why juvenile, there's kind of like a stronger push towards it. But you would still have like even in our West Corks and like counties here, there's always like plenty of senior teams as well. So it's still there, but yeah, probably not as prominent as among the juveniles.
And from your cross country, you've gone and done something myself and Sean will never ever do. You broke 16 minutes in a 5K. We still don't know how you did it, and it wasn't in your bare feet. We know that much, but it's Fiona, talk us through the transition then into track and some of the targets you're setting yourself, and what is it like to break 16 minutes in a 5K?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a goal I had for the last year or two, so I was glad to actually finally dip under it. But no, I think it is different, like racing track when you're just kind of more focused on splits, and even a lot of our sessions would be like focused on like hitting certain splits. So yeah, it's definitely different, but at the minute I'm enjoying it. And yeah, just kind of looking, I guess it's easier to like measure your progress, like you're really just basing it off how many seconds quicker you can go or how many seconds you can take off your PB. So it is a bit more measurable that sometimes I enjoy that side, sometimes it can get a bit much. But no, for now I'm enjoying it. And yeah, that was definitely like a goal I was really hoping to take off this year. So I was glad to get that one done.
How frustrating is it when you're talking about seconds? Do you know, and what does it take in your training week when you transition into that track? What does it take to go from 16:10 to 15:46, or like
Yeah.
what are you changing, and how much effort is it requiring just to get those minute percentages to get that PB?
Yeah, it's a lot. Like I think over last year we hadn't changed too much. I think it was just about like more so getting another year of the same like consistent work behind me. But it is like a full year and then you're just hoping that you can knock a few seconds off. Like I raced a 1500 in Dublin during the week and I got a PB by I think maybe 600ths of a second.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks to the PB though.
Yeah, I know. You're hoping to take like at least a couple off and you're after that it's like I don't know if I like can be happy with that or not. So like that side of it is a bit frustrating when it can be like a bit slower to see that progress, but hopefully the next one might be able to knock a bit more than that off.
Do you like then? Obviously, 1500 is quite a short. It's a sprint essentially. It's a very very quick race. Do you enjoy them races? Because we're not in the same league, but I'm asking from a position of average. I hate 5 and 10s because I enjoy a marathon because there's more
Yeah.
time. It's not the sprint element. It's not max effort all the time. Do you prefer the max effort stuff?
I much prefer 5, 10Ks. Yeah, I take those any day. But I think with 15, it's a bit different. I like how I know it's not my stronger event. I know it's not what I'm kind of focusing on. So like I go into those races with definitely like putting less pressure on myself. I never feel as nervous. I just take it as like I know obviously care about the result, but if I ran a bad 5K, I would care a lot more than if I ran a bad 1500. So that side I kind of like. I'm always a bit more relaxed going into it. And yeah, I like how it's kind of over quickly, although sometimes it feels a lot longer than 1500.
How I can barely hold the plank for a minute and that feels like an hour. What is your 1500 time and how long does it feel?
Yeah, so I ran 4:26, but yeah, I think the last 200 of that race felt longer than like the 3 laps beforehand. That just felt like such drag. So it's just a different kind of pain. I think that I'm probably not as used to yet.
Fiona, what goes through your head? People have different things, keep the legs turning over, just keep going, just hold on to this person. What goes through your head when you reach that point? Because that is maximum. And it's, you know, some of us average people think we're at our maximum. We're actually not. Those of you who are at that level, you are really at max. What goes through your head to keep yourself ticking over for those 200 meters?
Yeah, especially for the last 100, like I could feel my legs going. So I was honestly just trying to like not fall over
Don't fall,
and
don't
stay
fall,
upright.
don't
Yeah.
fall.
But yeah, you're just trying to race whoever you're against and trying to, because like a second in a race like that actually makes quite a big difference. So you're trying to, like, I knew I wasn't really on for the time I was hoping for, but you're just trying to like not give up completely and just like do as good as you can. So yeah, I was just trying to honestly stay upright and try and like get any bit of a PE.
Fiona, with the lot of 5Ks and 10Ks around the country just this time of year, and you're obviously in that kind of area, what would be your long run a week? Because some people would say you do, 10, 12K, 16 longer. Like what kind of mileage are you doing per week? And do you have like a long run set at the end of the week and then maybe 1 or 2 intervals? Like how would a training week work for you, Fiona?
Yeah, so at the minute I'm doing 75 miles. I think it's maybe 120K, something like that a week.
Yeah, around that, yeah.
So
A
we
month?
do, sorry?
No,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
The rest
I
of us
wish.
listening are going, I hope she says a
Hush,
month. I
just
hope she says a
there's a month. I did 50K last week.
I know I'm doing it long enough, so I need to be I need to be doing something. But no, we do 3 sessions a week on a Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and then just run easy on a Monday and Wednesday. And on a Sunday, I do a long run. So at the minute, I'm doing 14 to 15 miles. So yeah, it's not too bad for now.
So like even when we're talking about shorter races, the long runs they're pretty long.
Yeah, they'll need to increase a small bit, but at the minute, yeah, that's kind of what I prefer. I actually prefer the longer stuff, so I love doing the long runs.
Before we touch more on some of the other stuff, the likes of a half marathon and further, would that ever interest you?
Yeah, I'm really eager to go towards the marathon. I think my coach is trying to like hold me back as long as he can, but yeah, I would love to. I know eventually, like over the next couple of years, I will do one, but it's just like a slow build to it. Like I think the longest I've done on the road is 10K. So I'd like to do a half marathon, hopefully soon enough, and then yeah, build up towards the marathon. I think that's like the side of training even that like I really do enjoy. I probably prefer that side a lot. So I'm hoping that I'll like enjoy racing the half marathons and marathons as well.
Do you feel like you've got time now to go, okay, the shorter stuff, and then as you get older, it's okay, now it's time for the marathon phase? Is that how you're breaking it down, or your coach is breaking it down? It's like, there's time for that marathon stuff, fine, but we'll get these 5Ks down and down and down, and then build onto it because, like, well, for us who are easily led online, is when you see all the marathon finishes, like, oh, I want to do it, I want to go to there, and like I saw that the
Yeah.
Coliseum run, oh, I want to do there, and I was like, Barcelona, I was like, oh, yeah, that was a flat course, got a PB, I want to go there. So it's just so easy sway to one or the other. When you're seeing all that kind of stuff, it must be hard because you're like you have the talent, obviously, to do it, and but at the same time, it's like really want to focus on these shorter distances for now.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, I know it makes sense. Like he's saying there's a lot of benefit to like getting my kind of shorter distances, like getting those a bit better and improving those. And then like that will help when I do eventually go towards the marathon. But it is hard just when I do think I'd really enjoy that, like the kind of longer races. So I don't know yet, like when I'll like how much longer I'll wait until I do one. But yeah, I think for now, like there is good benefit in just trying to work on my 5-10K times, because I'm hoping that I can make a bit more progress over those. And yeah, hopefully that will then help when I go towards the longer road races.
I know a lot of athletes don't like to necessarily say what the plan is, or so that a couple of thousand people will hold you accountable, Fiona. But what is the plan, in a loose sense? And I know you're working hard to improve. That's the given. We're trying to
Yeah.
get the percentages. But for you, over the next 2 to 3 years, what would be the key goals that if we were to interview you in 3 years, Fiona, what would you say? Do you know what? I achieved what I said I was going to achieve. I'd like to get back to this. I'd like to do that. What is your goal for the next little while?
Yeah, I think at the minute I'm still better over cross country than track, so I think I probably have more potential over that. So would definitely love to get back to Eurocross. I think the last 2 years I wasn't that happy with how I actually performed there, so I would just like to go and actually have a decent run, race quite well. So yeah, that's probably will be the main goal, to try and go to those champs and yeah, be happy with a performance. I'd love an Irish Fest over the track as well. I don't know like how realistic that will be at the minute, but yeah, I think that'd be kind of a more of an ambitious goal if I can. And then yeah, just see after that if I've gone to the roads in the next few years, see what I can do there.
And I know cross country is where your heart is at the minute, but if you, with the transition into track, 5 and 10Ks, what would you consider some of the better ones for people to give a go from what you've done, what you've raced? Is there any that in particular you would say, do you know what? If you're gonna do a 10K, if you're gonna do a 5K, which ones would you recommend to people?
Yeah, so for roads, I did the Dunboyne 10K, those national champs in March the last 2 years. That's actually a really good one. There's just always like so many people doing it, so I think it's good to like have a good field. With the 5Ks, we've been lucky the last couple of years. We've had a really good field for the national champs. So they're August again in Morton. So yeah, hopefully we should have a good field in that. I think a lot just depends if there is a good field, do you have people to run with? With road races, I don't have too much more experience other than that. I know that Dunshaughlin one that you did, I've actually wanted to do that one for a while, so hopefully I'll get to do that one myself. Yeah, I think with track especially, like the biggest thing is just like getting into one that you're going to actually have people to run with. It can just be a lot tougher if you're trying to like clock off the laps by yourself. So I would say just getting one that there's people like at a similar enough standard to you in the same race, which make a big difference.
There's going to be people listening to this, and maybe young girls listening to this, Fiona, who to go a little bit nostalgic into your beginning and knowing where you're still trying to achieve. What kind of advice do you have for people who are looking to get into this sport of running? People who may have just picked it up now later in life. What advice do you have for them for getting involved and finding that love that you very obviously have for running? What's the best advice you can give for them?
Yeah, I think however old you are, just like make sure that you are enjoying it, and whatever distance, whatever you want to do, just find one that you're going to enjoy most and that you actually love doing. I think it does sound like such juvenile advice, but I think more so now I'm seeing it as more important than when I was younger. And I always run my best when like I'm just happy enjoying the sport, not putting too much pressure on it. So yeah, and it just makes it a lot easier to go out and actually do the work when you are enjoying what you're doing. So like when races come around, obviously you're going to get a bit more nervous, but if you can just like see the bigger picture, no one bad race is going to like define your whole season. It's definitely a balancing act that I'm trying to get better at myself. But yeah, I do just run better when I'm like more relaxed, enjoying it and like not taking it. You take it seriously, but like it doesn't have to be everything either.
Fiona, that is a great way to wrap up this episode. But I'm not going to wrap it up that way because I have one final question. Usually when I do these episodes and we get guests on in a couple of hours or days before, when I get time, I'll go through notes, I'll go through their Instagram. Eric Craig's calling me a stalker, see race reports and all the
Yes.
rest. And then I go on Google. But Fiona, yours was the easiest to research one because you thankfully have a lazy option for finding all your stuff. You have your own Wikipedia page. Not many of our guests have their own
You
Wikipedia
know you
page.
have a Wikipedia page.
It's gas. I actually didn't know. I don't know when it was created, but my mom saw it before I did. I don't know if she was just looking me up or what, but yeah, I think she either texted or rang me and she's like, Fiona, you're on Wikipedia. I don't know who created that or
Sign
why.
you've made it.
Now we keep going in and making little edits. She's not actually from Cork.
It's just you and my mom.
After this episode, Eric's like, and then after Cork City Sports Athlete of the Year,
She was put on the wall of fame for the Any Given Run Day.
That's all people need to know.
exactly where I was going with that.
Yeah, it was. It was actually so easy for Sean to stalk you. It was brilliant. It was all the
Yes.
information in one place. No, it was brilliant. How did that feel to be Wiki famous?
It's a bit weird. I don't know how many people are actually looking at it, or if just one person created it. It's in the archive somewhere, but yeah, it's a weird one.
The joys of being in the public eye and being a good runner, I suppose. Yeah, it does create attention and stuff. But Fiona, it has been absolutely amazing having you on. Thank you so much for giving us your time and your insights into your training. We are all wishing you so well as you move back into the cross. And hopefully you do get that race that you're hoping to do for yourself and keep enjoying the sport. It's been amazing having you on. You've been a fantastic guest as always. And so modest as all of our Irish athletes are, and never admit that they truly are fantastic athletes, which is what you are. So let us say it for you, Fiona, and I'm sure our listeners will agree. But thanks so much for giving us your time.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. I really enjoyed it actually.
And that's it for this week's episode of the Any Given Monday podcast. Myself, Fiona, and Eric. Take care.